Content warning in general is kind of ridiculous if you ask me, like this one for the movie Rush Hour, where it warns you that certain depictions, language, and humor may seem outdated and at times offensive. And by that we mean, there's a scene where Jackie Chan said the N-word.
What's up, my nigga?
And in the second movie, there's that wonderful scene with Don Cheadle.
Kenny, you embarrassing yourself. You're a black man with a Chinese restaurant on Crenshaw.
Seriously, just go and watch the Rush Hour trilogy, they are amazing. But hey, I do think it's better to have that content warning up front first, instead of having that content be censored entirely without warning. I personally prefer neither of them to be in my media, that's why I don't stream my movies from the official channels. There's no warning whatsoever. Still, content warning up front while keeping the movies uncensored is definitely the lesser of the two evils. It's propaganda and a form of brainwashing. No, it's not propaganda or a form of brainwashing. If anything, this content warning is a reaction to those overly sensitive and potentially brainwashed individuals. I don't blame the movie or the streaming service doing them. I blame the people who were offended by them. Let's pretend it's not that bad or a type of censorship. I'm not pretending. It isn't that bad, and it isn't a type of censorship. The content is not cut. I don't know what you're on about. If it's a subjective term, it's being used to influence or control. Subjective? I don't see what is subjective from the warning. Jackie Chan saying the N-word is not something that people can do in current year without a lot of backlash. And it can be offensive to certain people, especially the guys that beat the crap out of him in that very same movie. All I'm saying is, just because you disagree with how non-offensive it is, doesn't make it brainwashing. Offensive is arbitrary and subjective, and has no reason being in a warning of any kind. I agree, but that doesn't make it brainwashing or censorship. It just means you don't agree with the placement, and that's perfectly valid. I can agree with that, but I don't escalate it to, this is brainwashing and propaganda. That's just dumb. It's literally telling you that a subjective term is reality. Because it is reality. Some people might find that offensive, and that particular kind of humor will not fly in current year. These are the reality that you chose to deny. You may have the mental capacity to deter, but normies and low IQ do not. Wait, so you don't deny that some people might find it offensive? What is this doublethink? Either way, that's more of the fault of society as a whole than the movie itself. The streaming services are just trying to adapt with the times, and if you ask me, my problem is with the times rather than the streaming services, even though I do have problems with streaming services too, mostly because their subscription prices are ridiculous. I do have to give some warning to all of you before we proceed, and that is, there will be more hooplas coming up. But a quick reminder that if you like this video so far, don't forget to click the like button, comment, subscribe, and leave some tips through any of these means, including YouTube membership, links below. Thank you to all the sponsors this week, you are all fantastic. Well, here's a blatantly discriminatory post. People's eating styles reflect their intellectual depth. I've seen this idea twice at this point. The last time I saw it, that tweet was deleted, but this entirely different account decided to double down on this insanely dumb take, implying that eating finger food is somehow less intellectual. God forbid people eat fast food, right? Eating burgers past your teens really shows the maturity level of your palate. Well, sorry that I couldn't afford a medium rare beef steak every day. I guess that means I'm intellectually challenged. Fast food is for blacks, children, man babies, and fatties. Okay, this guy is trolling. No reasonable person would say all this with a straight face. In response to this wonderful troll, I will double down on my chicken tender consumption. This does not dismiss the fact that brown people like Indonesians can be really dumb. I know. I am one, and I can be really dumb. But not this dumb. It's been a while since we had a Meanwhile in Indonesia, and this one is just hilarious. Tourists in Jogja stung by jellyfish because they thought they should be caught like the one in SpongeBob. Except in SpongeBob, they have a freaking net, and those jellyfish also sting. These guys do not watch SpongeBob if they think jellyfish hunting is a good idea. There were 22 victims of this incident, and the majority of the victims are children. Where are the parents of these children? At least they can be treated on the spot without going to the hospital, and at least they got stung by non-deadly jellyfishes. Lesson of this story is to never disturb those jellyfishes. In other words, just watch any SpongeBob episodes involving jellyfishes, and you'll find out how this is not a good idea. Okay, maybe we shouldn't tackle stupidity in terms of skin color because that would be discriminatory. Let's talk about tackling stupidity in the generation sense. Zoomers always love to invent the dumbest of things. They have invented this thing called micro-retirement, which is when you take a week off of work and then go back. That's just taking a vacation, and even the community note corrected that. Gen Z didn't invent that for sure. Apparently, this is not the normal PTO or paid time off that we're all used to. This is actually an unpaid time off that the Zoomers take a whole week. Why? Because they want to avoid burnout, find great fulfillment in their work, and enhance their overall well-being. That is until you find out that after a week has passed, you have to catch up with the rest of your coworkers on what you have missed. So yeah, this is not the kind of work ethic that I recommend to all the Zoomers out there. Maybe just take a normal paid time off like everyone else. Okay, I think generalizing a whole generation is not gonna nail stupidity down. Let's nail stupidity down by a whole ideology instead. Man, economics are complicating for certain people. Communism is human nature. No, it's not. And dear God, what's going on with the mom and that baby? Seriously, what is this AI garbage? Before class society, humans lived in egalitarian, cooperative communities. First off, there's supposed to be a period there, not a comma. Second, human beings are not cooperative. They're actually competitive, which is why they fight for resources a lot. And that still happens to this day. We shared food, raised children together, and made decisions collectively. No, we do not. You don't even need to learn history to know this isn't true. The premise of this whole thing is that if you're a human being, you're just gonna willingly give away stuff because you're part of a collective or a community, if you will. I can give away stuff for you too, and that is my middle finger. But hey, I'd rather deal with someone who's dumb than someone who is utterly hopeless. If you feel miserable and depressed, I can assure you that whatever you're feeling right now, they are still way better than what these incels are feeling. There's no gym for your face, height, or your genetics. This incel account points out a brutal screenshot where a tall, muscular guy looked way more imposing than the shorter, muscular guy. And then this Redditor made this dumb comment. No matter how many hours the man puts into the gym, no matter how well he dresses, how many self-improvement books he read, how much red pill game he learns, he will always be seen as genetically inferior. Bro, there will always be people who are better than you in almost every aspect. That doesn't make you a failure, and that doesn't mean you are useless. Elon Musk may have a multi-billion-dollar corporation, but I know how to bypass the Windows installation, something that he absolutely struggled with. Even if it's true that you are genetically inferior, what are you going to do about it? Just accept and wallow in your defeat? All I see here is you complaining that people are superior than you without actually providing any solution to the problem. You immediately went hopeless because of that. He's trying to play catch up in the hope he will be as desirable as the genetically superior male. Hey, dumbass, these genetically superior males are in very limited stock. These guys are only gonna pick one woman out of many in the market. Most people are not able to achieve that level of genetic superiority. I don't, and even I can score. Also, that guy on the left is this dude named Connor Murphy, who didn't sound familiar at first until I realized that he was that guy from that Sunny V2 video from 3 years ago where he had a mental breakdown that led to him consuming a lot of drugs. And that's just the beginning of his crazy lore. No manlet on this freaking planet is sane anyways because of how they're treated. So that means you're insane too, right? And I guess Connor is an exception because he isn't a manlet and he is insane.
I was actually put into a psych ward for over 2 weeks.
6'1" is required to be seen as a human and get respect. Wow. And you wonder why people are laughing at you. Again, the market for 6'1" guys are incredibly limited. Not all girls are going to get it. Having this no hope defeatist attitude is only going to discourage people out of the dating market. Now that I think about it, I think that's the original plan here. Discouraging incels out of the dating market so that they have less competition. If that's true, that is pretty diabolical. And I can actually kind of respect that. Great grift. But if this is serious, then I'll just laugh my ass off. Don't worry, incels, you're not the only one dealing with rejection. Let's see a throwback hoopla. The real world is rife with some real tsundere-yandere hybrid, when the man I rejected 115 times posts his new girlfriend. Yes, that's exactly what happens when you reject someone for 115 times. Now, to be fair, the dude has got to be really freaking hopeless to ask this girl out 115 times. I think by your second or third attempt, you should just give up. But it gets even worse when the girl actually likes the guy, but she doesn't want to admit it, as in a tsundere. Now, I know that the girl is a broad and the guy is a moron. You know what? Maybe you two really deserve each other. At the beginning, it was annoying that guy liked girl, not flattering, unless she's been rejected and miserable her whole life. Wow, it's almost like not every girl is lucky in romance or something. A girl likes to feel special. If a guy comes up in her world and suddenly likes her, she doesn't feel special because he doesn't know enough of her. That implies that guys confess to you based on your looks rather than your personality, which still doesn't dismiss how those guys are idiots and you're a broad. But apparently, according to this broad, the best way to make the romance work is for the girl to reject the guy, then the girl get to know the guy by observing him, in other words, stalk him, and then the girl wait for the guy to confess back so that now the confession is a lot more manly because he actually meant it this time. I mean, yes, that guy is desperate for romance, but that doesn't dismiss the fact that you too are also desperate for romance. At least the guy admits to it, whereas you don't want to admit it. Here's a solution for you. Put him on probation. Date him for a certain period of time. Get to know him. If you don't like him, then just reject him. It's really not that hard. Maybe this little guide will make all those incels realize what to do. To all the men out there, here's a little handy guide of how not to be feminine. And therefore undesirable, I guess. Or at least undesirable to whomever that, tank is, according to one comment. Good lord. So, what are the feminine things that men do? Passenger princess. Apparently it means being a passenger to someone all the time. I guess it's not feminine to have your own car. Not offering to pay bills. If I don't know who you are, I'm not gonna pay your bills. Especially if you decided to order way too much than necessary. Asking 50-50. Oh no! How dare men ask for equality when you people are demanding that all the time? Not opening doors. Wow, what a petty requirement. Driving a Honda or a Nissan. God forbid that men have cars from the East. Having a car insurance. I'm sorry, what? Skincare. Excuse me, you don't want men to take care of their skin? Recycle. God forbid men threw their trash in their rightful place, right? Planting flowers. Wow, how dare they like flowers. Low credit score. I would have agreed at first until I realized that this implies low credit score is a woman thing. Actually, that implies a lot of those entries are a woman thing. I guess women don't like to throw trash in their proper place. Doing eyebrows. God forbid, right? Listening to music. Excuse me, do you ladies not listen to music? TikTok. No arguments there. Taking selfies. Oh no, selfies. Ordering appetizers. I guess because only ladies are the ones ordering appetizers, right? Not driving shift gear. I love how this implies that women drive auto, which just perpetuates the stereotypes that they are bad at driving. Wearing contacts. Well, glasses are more comfortable anyway, but I do prefer not using any of them. Can't swim. Yeah, because swimming is a man thing, right? Now that I read most of it, I think it's best to conclude that guys really should not follow this list of what makes men feminine. And that's all for the video today. Here's a cat. Don't forget to check out my previous videos here. Click the like button, comment, subscribe, leave some tips, just $1 down below. And thanks for watching.